Hey friends, Ellie Mae here, your favorite financial coach, wrapping up the week with our Women Empowerment and Finances series. That doesn't mean that we're not gonna ever touch a topic specifically for women, but today is one of the it's last of the series that we had this week. So again, thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching the replay, make sure you put in the comments. Don't be afraid. Some of you guys message me directly or privately, but nothing's going to happen if you do it publicly. Nobody's going to jump on you or pounce on you. I myself is not going to pounce on you. So I just wanted to encourage you to do so. Also wanted to shout out, I don't know if she's on or she'll be able to watch the replay. My friend Vanetta, I am so proud of you, as a woman doing business, taking care of your family, even though the circumstances, if you know, Vanetta, I'm so proud of you and you encouraged me so much today. But anyway, let's dive into the topic. Like I always say, why is it important, specifically for women, to take care of estate planning and life insurance? First of all, it's securing your future and that of your family. That's, number one step. And I know some of you think, all of these things are so expensive. They're not. They're very affordable. I don't know who you've been talking to. Don't throw the phone at me, but it's very affordable. Especially the younger you are, the better it is to put these things in place, not only because of the finances, but because as life goes on, things do change. Let's talk a little bit about life insurance, just a couple of minutes, and then we'll go into estate planning. Listen, life insurance, like I said, the younger you are, the more affordable it is. And which type of life insurance? Well, of course, term life insurance. Why? Because it's more affordable and you'll have money now to invest or to put aside emergency fund and all the stuff that we've been talking about. You don't want to pay hundreds of dollars in life insurance and then you're not able to save or to plan for vacation, put your emergency fund, your retirement plan. There's so many things that we need to do. That's why you need to go the affordable route. Not only that, there's other features that term life insurance gives you that I'm not going to discuss today. I'm just telling you the importance of it, right? Number two, most people, when you ask them, especially us as women, and we know very protective about our families, not only our children, our spouses, maybe our parents, aunts, uncle, godmother, if something happens unexpectedly and you're no longer here, for those that depend on you financially, would you want them to be in the same situation that you are now, in a better or worse? And everybody says at least in the same. Of course, you would want it to be better, but at least the same. Now, if there's people, your family, depending on your income, if you're no longer here, what do you think is going to happen with your income? It's gone, right? So that's why another reason why life insurance is so important. And I know you're asking yourself, well, Ellie, how much should I get? I already have some at my job. I have 100,000. I have 50,000. Listen, the experts say, and when I say experts, I'm always talking about big people. They say that the correct amount is 10 times your yearly income. Now, if you make $50,000 a year, you should protect your income 10 times that amount, which is 500,000, which is $500,000. If you make 30, well, 300,000. And like I tell you, term is very affordable. The younger you are, if you're in your 30s, you could do $500,000 for, $60, $70. So, like I said, I'm not going to get into the details of the money, and your specific situation is different than anybody else. But the thing is to have something in place. Remember, the life insurance from your job is not yours. You just get a certificate. You're not the owner. And you have to read the fine print. Some jobs and the fine print of the insurance says that it only pays out if something happens to you while at the job or something that is job related. So now if you've gone to Dubai on vacation and something happens to you, it might not pay. I'm not saying all of them do, but some say so. So make sure you read the fine print. And the other problem about only depending on the works life insurance, I'm not saying it's bad, but you must not only depend on it, is that if you leave the job and you're going to be self-employed, it's not going to be the same amount, even though you go to the same company because you were paying group insurance. So it's always good to have one privately outside of your job. Not only if you leave the job and go be self-employed, what if the business closes? What if the company shuts down? What if you get fired? What if you quit? It's got so many reasons why you must not only depend on your job. Now, this is the job that you all the time, and don't throw the phone at me because I know because I was there, and you all say it all the time. You might not say it to me directly, but it's all social media. You can't stand to go to work on Monday. You wish you had, you get paid better. All these complaints about their job, right? It's very rarely that you find somebody that is 100% happy with their job. And if you are, hey, listen, congratulations, more power to you. But this is a job that you complain about all the time. But when it comes to your family's future, you're depending on it. No, you got to do something outside of it. If they offer at your job, by all means, take it. It's group rate. Sometimes it's $5 a paycheck, $10 a paycheck. Listen, I would take it. But if you make $50,000 a year, and your policy at your job is $50,000, and they pay out, how long you think that $50,000 is gonna last? If you make $50,000 a year, it's gonna last a year, if that much, because now there's extra expenses. There's your funeral, there's maybe medical expenses, a lot of things that were not in place. So now that's why the experts say protect your income 10 times the amount that you make on a yearly basis. Now, if you can't start that high, listen, hey, we bring it back. The thing is to have something outside of your job. So that is some of the reasons and the importance of having your life insurance as a woman, whether you're married or not, because not only on yourself, but girlfriend, on your spouse. And don't tell me about, I'm not getting life insurance because, if I'm not here, I don't want him to, take that money and enjoy it with somebody else. Listen, that is so selfish. That's not you. That is so selfish. The most unselfish thing to do is to prepare for the future, not only for your children, but also for your spouse. And I'm sure he would do the same thing if you are on the same page. And if you're not on the same page, well, I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not a life coach. I am a financial coach. So, and I know you can see the link of my consultation. So you make sure you click on it and book a 30-minute complimentary consultation. So those are some of the reasons why I'm so passionate about that topic, because it's not spoken of, especially in our communities. It's not spoken of. Most people think, well, that's for the rich. It's not for the rich only. It's for everybody. And why you think some families that are better off than others? Because they do that. They leave the next generation in a better position than they were in. Now, again, that is a mouthful, but it is. Not everybody college was paid for because their parents were rich. It could have been a grandparent or a great-grandparent that left something for this child, for them to go to college. So that didn't mean that they were wealthy. If somebody unselfishly left something for the next generation. Okay, that's enough about life insurance. I want to get into estate planning because a lot of people, especially middle-class families, feel like, well, they don't need to do estate planning because they don't have a lot. Estate planning is so much more than preparing your will. Of course, preparing your will is very important. One, because of your assets, no matter if it's just a pen that your grandmother left you and you want it to go to your daughter and it keeps going on the family. It doesn't matter if it's a vase or if it's a painting. It's yours and you should decide who is going to have it when you're no longer here. Also, so the will help determine who will receive your belongings or whatever assets you have, especially if you have property with you and your spouse, or especially, maybe you were not married, but you live with this person X amount of time. You want everything to be in place. That's one reason why estate planning is so important. So you not only have the will if in case you're no longer here, but you also have the living will. Let's say, for instance, if something happens to you and you're incapacitated and you are in a coma, or some medical thing that you cannot make decisions, you want to have somebody in place. I think they call it a medical directive that will make decisions for you because you already have spoken to that person. It's already on paper, and then you don't have to. Then other people in your family don't have the pressure to have to make those decisions. Could you imagine that you have children that are 18 or 20, 22, making those hard decisions? It's not whether to unplug you or not. It's whether what kind of treatment you want. Like, some people don't want blood transfusion. Some people do not resuscitate. So if that's already in writing, your family doesn't have that pressure. So that's another reason. That's part of estate planning. And the most important one, I mean, there's so many, but I want to, leave you with this one, is that when you have your documents in place, you will go ahead and have in writing who will take care of your minor children. You don't want the courts to have to decide on who is going to take care of your children. Whether you're here and you're in a coma, or whether you're no longer here. To me, that's the most important part. So let's stop being selfish, right? And let's be unselfish and prepare those things. Now, okay, I know, Ellie, this is going to cost so much. This does not cost so much. Listen, for less than $1 a day, you could prepare a will and all of these other documents that I'm talking to you about. That's why you have to book on my link and to make an appointment for a consultation so that you could put these things in place. And even if you have them in place, you could still review them, because as you get older and things change, you have more property or you got rid of a property, you have to go now and adjust these things. Who is your beneficiary for your retirement plan if anything happens to you, your 401k, or all of these things that you all have in your jobs. Don't just put them in place and cruise control. You have to at least yearly or even every 6 months review these documents in case if anything happens. Let's say you were married and now you're no longer married. You have to go and review those documents and remove certain people. That's very important. Speaking for experience, another day, another story. But that's why it's so important. And the last thing I want to tell you, why is it so important as women for us to take care of these things? Number one, we spoke a couple of days ago, according to the statistics, and I'm not really a statistics person to say, don't bunch me in a group, but they say that we women live longer than men. So wouldn't you want these things in place if you are married and or you have a significant other, so that if something happens, everything is already in place instead of you running around with like a chicken without a head? It's that peace of mind to know that if you're no longer here or something happens to you and you're still here but you're not able to operate, that these things are in place. To me, that's why I always say that's your last love letter. Whether if it's preparing for the unexpected, which is, if you're no longer here, or you pass away, or if something happens to you and you are incapacitated for 6 months, a year, you want things to be in place. So contact me, especially, listen, you've been in the workforce for a few years already. You might be in your mid-30s, so you're not a baby, right? So let's put these things in place. Properly protecting your income with life insurance and estate planning is less than $3 a day. Listen, and we spend more than $3 a day in the coffee. No, not in alcohol, in coffee, right? And I know many of you are coffee drinkers, and there is no shame on it. I'm not bashing you for it. I could only do 1 cup a day, but some of us do 2-3 cups a day. Some of us buy 3-4 sodas a day. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not bashing you for it, but more important is protecting your income and planning for, your estate planning for the future if anything happens to you, especially if you have minor children. Listen, don't let me get on you on that. If you have minor children and you live in day to day all willy-nilly and not preparing for them, because unfortunately what happens is, if something happens to you and you haven't prepared, the court is not going to take your feelings into consideration because you're no longer there. The court is going to say, something, this person makes more money, or this person has more assets to be taking care of that child. Or maybe you and that person never talked to in 20 years. Or maybe that person don't have your same values to raise your children, which is more important, right? So you preparing not only for your minor children, putting in place your beneficiaries. Now, even if you have life insurance already, maybe you need to change your beneficiaries. I mean, there's so many things that you need to do now, not tomorrow, not next year, not after Christmas or New Year's, because I have so many clients that tell me, after New Year's. Okay, listen, I am not bashing you, But what's more important? Preparing for the future and your family's future, if anything happens to you, whether you're here or not, or buying the gifts. And we're not talking about a lot of money. We're talking about $3 a day. So if that's not important enough for you to take care of it now, like one of my mentors used to say all the time, then do it now, do it now, do it now, ding, 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 ding. Then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not in the business to convince you what to do. I'm in the business to educate you. So I'm so happy that you have joined me this week for the series of Empowering Women in Finances. If there's a specific topic that you want me to speak about, make sure that you send me a message. Privately or text, my business line, 904-420-2211. That's my business line. And people say, well, why do I put my number out there? Listen, State Farm or whoever company, Amazon or whoever, they put their number public. I'm a business, right? That is my business line. So if I don't want people to contact me, if I'm afraid, I won't be giving my number. If you want to call whoever on the store, Walmart, whoever. The other day I called Office Depot to ask them how much they charge me to buy a book. So how would I contact them for their services if they didn't put their number in the public? So my business line is 904-420-2211. You could text me, call me, send me a picture, whatever you want to. So excited to speak to you today. So excited for our series, whatever topic. I'm going to leave it as a secret for next week. And thank you so much for joining me. It's so true, Stephen. Most people don't have life insurance, nor have a will in place. And this is a man's perspective, right? And I know he values his family, he values himself, he's got, kids. So if it's important for them, it's also important for us. Not only, and I want to reach out to my community. I'm a woman, I'm Hispanic, and I am Black. That is my community, right? And we have been, for the longest time, working and paying bills, and not taking care of the more important things. So I have to throw it out there. That's why I'm here, to help that community. It's not for them. It's not for the rich. It's not for the different color. It's for everybody. So my community has to get on board. You have to get on board and prepare for the future. You have to get on board to let Stephen, you see what you started? You have to get on board and start leaving the next generation in a better position. You want that when your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren look at the mantle and they see a picture of you and they can say, because grandma so-and-so did this is why we're here today. This is why my college education was paid for. This is why I was able to buy a house. She left me $150,000 for my down payment. This is why I was able to start my business, because my grandmother, my mother, my godmother left something for me, right? A lot of us didn't have that blessing. That when we got to 25, 30, no one had left anything for us, because how our culture, our communities are being taught. Well, no, I am here to break that cycle. And I am so excited that you're listening to me today. And make sure that you tag a friend, tag a girlfriend. It's about the education. Now, let's do it now. Let's educate all of our friends. I'm so excited that the cold that I was getting rid of is trying to come back, but we're not going to let it. That our friends, all of our girlfriends, know about this information. Listen, you could start one step at a time to get your will and all of your estate planning together, and all your power of attorney, your medical directive, less than $1 a day, right? I have to tell you that. I'm in business. But let's put a plan in place. Anyway, again, thank you so much for joining me today. Looking forward to speak to you next week. And make sure you contact me, 904-420-2211. Bye for now. Have a great weekend.